de filles dans mon comic strip. Viens faire des bulles, viens faire des.
Hello, and welcome to today's book talk, where we're going to talk about 3 different graphic novels and comic books. They're primarily graphic novels, though in fact they might all be graphic novels. But we're going to start with Trailers by Mark Kneece and Julie Collins, and then we'll move on to The Rabbi's Cat by Joann Sfar, and then we'll end with The Professor's Daughter, also by Joann Sfar, and Emmanuel Guibert, I think. They're French. But the book is in English. It's been translated. So, Trailers is this graphic novel about a young man living in a trailer park with his crack whore mother, and she ends up killing her pimp boyfriend one night, and then he has to take care of the body. And the body keeps showing back up in his life, like bits of it, like here's a finger, and oh, this looks like maybe it's part of his arm, and he's freaking out and falling apart because he's like, what do I do with this body? And because I can't tell the police because then they would arrest my mother, but then he's got younger siblings that he has to take care of, and I've never lived in a trailer park, and I doubt it's actually like that, and it's really intense, but it's a good story. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and the artwork in it's really good. It's really gritty, but it also has this element of traditional comic book Superman style to it, which is nice. The second one we're going to talk about is The Rabbi's Cat by Joann Sfar, and this is one of my absolute favorite graphic novels. It's about this cat. I believe they're in Morocco, and he can talk one day. He magically begins speaking. And he's the rabbi's cat. That's the title. And just kind of the adventures he gets into, and he's always questioning, and they go on this trip to Africa, and he really wants to get his bar mitzvah, because he wants to be a Jewish cat. He wants to be a good Jewish cat. Even though he can't stop questioning God and religion, and the rabbi is not necessarily defending religion, but giving good responses to him, like, you shouldn't talk like that, and that sort of thing. So it's really interesting, I think, in the direction of one who's trying to find their faith, and trying to find who they are as well, because he's the only cat who can talk. He doesn't really have other cat friends. And then there's this whole comedy piece with he's in love with his mistress, the rabbi's daughter, and he's just like, at the end of one of the books, he's like, I hope, dear God, please make sure that my mistress is safe, and that sort of thing. And then he stops, and he's like, oh hey, but make sure she never gets married and has children, because that would be bad, and I want her to love only me. And so it's just kind of funny. The artwork in that is gorgeous. It's beautiful. You'll have to check it out because I lent my copy out, and so someone else has it right now. The Professor's Daughter, also by Joann Sfar, but also co-written with this Emmanuel Guibert, is delightful. It's just a fun little romp where the professor's daughter ends up spending a day in Paris with this mummy who has just recently kind of come back from the dead, sort of thing. Anyway, but he's a mummy, like, he's all wrapped up, but he wears a suit and a top hat, and it's all Victorian. But it's really cute because they get into some like trouble with the law, and then they end up running away, and it's really fun because the professor's daughter's trying to be all polite and proper, and the mummy's like, no, let's just kill them, and you're like, what? So it's really fun. That's all. I mean, it's fluff. It's comic book fluff. But I think there's something in that one for everyone, because there's the romance between the mummy and the professor's daughter, but then there is also the action involved behind some of their actions, which I think would appeal to anyone, frankly. And the drawings are very simple in that one. It's a different style than the Rabbi's Cat, which I feel is very colorful, very detailed. This one's more simple, and it's normally done in sepia tones, which is interesting. But yeah, so there are 3 graphic novels for you guys to try out, and you definitely should. But until then, enjoy Superman and Batman and Spider-Man and all of those. So keep the graphic novel alive.